So I grew up watching sports. I grew up in Philadelphia, and sports are a big part of our culture there, if you are familiar with all that. Um, anyway, what I want to talk about today is a different kind of culture, white supremacy culture. And this is not placing shame, blame, not calling out. Like everything I do is about education and liberation, and decreasing suffering. So this came about, I was moved to make this video because of the incidents surrounding Naomi Osaka taking the steps that she needed to be there for herself and her mental health, and the reaction to it. First of all, I want to just shout out everyone who was so supportive and, rightfully just, gave the only correct response, which is, of course, whatever you need. But then there was the other side of the coin. A lot of judgment, a lot of criticism, a lot of, um, but, dot, dot, dot. And I just want to talk about how that plays out in our culture, and affects everyone. Like I said, no one is a void if you live in a colonistic society, a society with a history of colonialism. At any portion of it, like then this exists in the minds and bodies of the people, until they do the work of unlearning and unpacking. And so the way I saw it play out here, Naomi Osaka set a very clear boundary, and for herself and for her needs, and was you know held up to these standards of white supremacy culture. And what I mean when I say that, it's some of them are perfectionism, um, following the written word to a T, no just black or white thinking. And as someone who is a non-dualist, that's really difficult when people don't have room in their experience to appreciate nuance that is a part of my life. um, and the defenses, the defensiveness, and making it about you or the institution or whatever. The tennis player Martina, and I don't know how to say her name if I'm not looking at it, and I'm not. Made some comment, something to the effect, like I said, it's not a direct quote and it's not coming to anyone, but I want to talk about why it's problematic. That oh, she did the right thing for herself, but hurt others or something to that effect. And like, well, why is the comfort of others her responsibility? Nothing that, not giving her time, her energy, her speech to, like, no one is entitled to that. And the entitlement in and of itself is a part of the problem, and that's not just seen in this sport only. Like, it's seen, like I said, all these, I'm talking about this specific incident, but all these issues and all these attitudes are just widespread throughout our culture. And they cause harm to us all, they perpetuate harm to us all when we don't unlearn these patterns and habits. But particularly for those of us who have been racialized by white culture, and or are neurodiverse, or are marginalized, or have a history of childhood trauma, or highly sensitive people, and I fit all three of those. And of course, I don't know Naomi Osaka personally. I'm just a fan of, and I don't watch tennis. I just watch Naomi Osaka, Venus Williams, and Serena Williams, because they're phenomenal, and I like everything that they do. Um, uh, and so I don't know that she is highly sensitive, but my intuition, I saw her in that tennis match where a butterfly landed on her like she was a Disney princess. And then in another time when I guess she did feel comfortable speaking, she used her platform to come speak from the heart and be very uplifting. And, you know, I really found that admirable. And So, and then, and the right thing to do for anyone is to accept, and to listen to whatever it is that they need, because like you don't know what it's like being a person of color. Like you don't know what it's like being a highly sensitive person experiencing microaggressions. Like you see and hear how people of color are spoken about by the media, by announcers, by certain sportscasters versus white people. Like you all hear it. It's not like it hurts. I can't. That's why I don't watch sports anymore. Because I can't not hear and see it, and it's bothersome to me. Because like I said, I see it perpetuating this harm and demanding, continuing with the history of demanding access to black bodies, even if it means that, or bodies of people, the bodies of people of color or marginalized people, even if it means that they have to be uncomfortable. And that just has to stop and end, because it is causing us continued trauma every day. And it's not in one area of your life. Like this is her having to face it in her professional career, but it doesn't stop there, because like you cannot help being racialized in these societies until we hold people accountable for doing the work. And that's what this is about, that when a person of color or an otherwise marginalized person speaks and says that they have a need, like you don't understand their experience. So you need to close your mouth, open your ears and heart, and have some compassion. And your defensiveness that, is a very, very embodied in us all. Like we need to decrease that for, curiosity and, and again, not curiosity and demanding, well, why do you feel that way? And making saying that someone owes us an explanation, because no one owes us the explanation or the story of their life or their experience. Like they don't have to share that with us at all. It's a gift when people share with us their inner world, and should be valued as such. And definitely in Mental Health Awareness Month, from organizations as large as, the French Open, to put the values of an institution above a human being, as if that tradition, that match, that whatever, that tournament is more important than a whole human being. That's just like outrageous, and it's disgusting if you really think about it. Like it should be infuriating, and you should really try to understand and be grateful if that hasn't been and is not your experience, that you don't have to be challenged in ways or have assumptions made about you or have microaggressions directed toward you. And if you don't have certain sensitivities, then you just don't know what it's like to walk and live in that experience. It's about like recognizing that there are there's a vast myriad of ways in which people show up, and there's a lot of different things that people need to ensure their well-being, and we're all on our paths and journeys of figuring that out, what best works for us. But it's our personal work and our job. And to have someone, especially when with this offering of support, but the buts, like it's not offering support. It's gaslighting. It's and it's paternalism. Like, well, I would follow the rules. Like, well, yes, like the rules are yours. The rules belong to your culture, so it's comfortable for you to follow these rules. This is not my culture. It's not comfortable for me to follow these rules. Like, I need like just even in a room full of loving people, sometimes like 2 events in a row, like I just can't do. So, it depends on where I am and what space I am. Like I need some time by myself in between, downtime. And that's with people who are being kind and good to me. Imagine when when you just played like an intense physical emotional match, and then left it all on the court, and you just want to go get a massage and soak and like rest. And like, what's hard to understand that's where some people want to go before in front of a camera. And what's difficult about being spacious enough to offer the real life support, not just verbal, oh well it's okay if, but then fine and punish and do all the punitive things that white supremacy culture does to continue to wield and hoard power. Like, that's not okay. And like, we need you to stop, so to stop causing us continued racial trauma, so that we can feel safe in our bodies and in our jobs and in our careers and in the world. And in standing in our boundaries and in what is important for us and our care. Thank you.